Mailbag. As you guys know, we have an email address that you can send emails to. viva@scarecrow.com. Say hi, ask us questions, let us know what you've been watching, let us know how much you love the show.
Send us pictures of your dogs dressed like movie characters.
Oh my god, or just send us pictures of your dogs. Send us pictures of your favorite video store.
Do that too.
The subject of this is fan mail from Japan.
What?
Hey Scarecrow, I had moved to Seattle a bit before the pandemic and had wanted to come in the store but wasn't able to before everything shut down. Your show makes me feel like I'm hanging out in the store with you guys, so thank you. I moved to Japan in May, but hopefully someday I'll be able to come in the store and meet all of you. Speaking of which, video rental is still very much alive and well in Japan. In most cities, you'll be able to find a store that rents movies, games, and CDs. I went to my local place recently and wanted to send you guys a picture of the movie section. This is on the second floor. The first floor is a bookstore and coffee shop. Hope you enjoy, and thanks again, Scott. Well, this place sounds awesome. Any place that's like, oh yeah, the first floor is a bookstore and a coffee shop. The second floor is all videos. It's like, I would just hang out there all day. He didn't give us the name of the place, but that's fine anyways.
That's okay.
I'm not going to Japan anytime soon, so.
You just said you got your passport.
I know, but yeah, who knows? Anywhere.
Exactly.
Go anywhere.
There you go.
But yeah, that's awesome. It's our first submission of a video store. We'd love to see more of those if you have any in your area or have visited any in the past.
Yeah, if any wherever you are, anywhere in the world, if you want to send us a video of your video store or just a picture, or if you own a video store or are working at a video store right now, for sure send us a video of yourself, of your video store. We'd like to see
yourself at your video store.
Of yourself at your video store. Yeah, thanks for watching all the way in Japan.
Yeah, and sorry you didn't get a chance to come visit, but hopefully you can come in soon and hang out. And what do you got?
I got a letter here from Ethan. Hey, Emily and Kevin. I'm a Scarecrow video fan who has actually never visited the store. Two people who are fans of the store and the show that haven't visited.
It's going to be so awesome when you guys finally get to visit someday.
I only know of Scarecrow Video after finding it online during a search for video stores across the country a few months back. My local video store used to be the wonderful Videodrome in Atlanta, Georgia, but I have since moved to the Bay Area without a video store nearby. That's a bummer. The whole Bay Area
doesn't have any video stores?
Silicon Valley, I don't know.
Dude, I think it's time for you to open one.
There you go.
Bankrupt yourself, my friend.
Since I've never been to Scarecrow, though I hope to venture up to Seattle soon, with Scarecrow being a main pull for the trip, I have had the chance to experience some of what y'all have to offer in the form of walkthrough videos. However, I'm still waiting on the separate section walkthroughs that you both mentioned putting together a few months back. That would be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, we have a few that we did during our telethon, and we should organize them. I need to put more of. I'm going to start putting more of those up separately, and then you and I maybe we'll do some more on the show. But it's something we just forget. We're going to organize the ones we already have eventually, and we will continue to add to that. So just hold tight. Viva Physical Media and the Rent by Mail service. I love being able to rent DVDs by mail. But I can't wait to get up there so that way I can look into the VHS options as well. So I just wanted to share a bit about myself and how much I appreciate what you do with Viva Physical Media. After finding the show, I've gone through and watched the series and picking up some amazing recommendations along the way, like Crime Wave and Starstruck. Hey, Crime Wave was just on the last episode, so dang, good job. Both good weird ones. A question and a request that could also be taken just as a question. So first, here's the question. And I wrote down some. I should assume you have notes. Yeah. Oh my God! Look at that. If you could fund a direct sequel, not a reboot, to any movie, what movie would it be? You want me to go? You go first. Okay, mine aren't very interesting. Sorry. I don't know that mine are either, but. So I started thinking about basically any movie with characters that I want to see like more of, not necessarily like plot wise, but. That's exactly what Rich and I were talking about. I wrote particularly 8th Grade and Lady Bird. I want to see a 9th Grade would be cool. Would love to see Lady Bird in New York once she Frances Ha, though, right? Is there ever too much of a good thing? No, that's true. And then as an LOL, I wrote Rose's life post Titanic. Remember when it goes to all the pictures of her like riding horses and like going in airplanes and shit? And then like what was her relationship like with the guy that she married that she just like ditched in heaven? I want to see that movie. Yeah, because she seemed like she had a crazy adventurous like pioneer woman like going for it. She was a pilot. She rode horses. Yeah. All that stuff. And then she never talked about it.
Anyways, I don't want to turn this into a Titanic episode, which it could easily go. Stuff like that. I was like, any movies that just have characters that I like and I'm connected to. Okay. I think a lot about like TV shows too. Like, I wish there were more episodes of Freaks and Geeks, like, you know, things like that. What about you? What do you got?
Freaks and Geeks is particularly frustrating to me because I watched it when it was on TV. And I remember when I was watching David Letterman and Linda Cardellini was on, she was like, I found out on the drive over here that my show got canceled while she was on David Letterman. And I was like, no, I found out that show's canceled because nobody watched it when it was on. And then the DVDs came out and everybody was like, well, that's so cool. How come there's no second season? And I'm like, because you didn't watch it when it was on TV. But I wrote down a couple of TV shows too. But I did the similar thing where it was like mainly like people I'd want to see again, like
yeah, it's
hang
like
out
not
with
so
again.
much you want to find out what happened, like cliffhanger movies, but more so like I just want to like know what these people's lives are like.
One of the things I don't like about sequels, prequels too, for that matter, is like if it has like if you have an ending that like sort of wraps everything up, or where people get together, or whatever happens, then like if there's a sequel, it's like, okay, well now I know that the shit that happened in that movie that I enjoyed didn't work out, because whatever happened, now there's another, because otherwise what would be the drama, you know? It's like because we're not just going to check in on people and it's like everything's fine.
When I was younger, I never really like watched any of the James Bond movies, but I like knew enough about them to know there was like a different Bond girl in every movie. And when I was a kid, I was like, I don't understand, like, doesn't he end up with the girl at the end of the movie?
Yeah.
And then apparently they just break up and he gets a new Bond girl. Yeah, but now I get it because he's James Bond. I know now, but at the time I was like, well, they seemed happy and in love.
They do.
And then fucking reality hit me.
So like,
and I got how things work.
With James Bond anyway. Yeah. I was actually like looking through my letterbox list going like, what movies would I want
doing the same thing,
sequels with, you know, and these aren't all my favorite movies, but there are a lot of movies I've seen where I go, oh yeah, this one. I kept looking and going like, no, I wouldn't want to see a sequel to that. But then there's sequels to movies that I wouldn't expect there to be a sequel to that are good, like Before Sunset.
Yeah.
I think is as good as Before Sunrise. Mm-hmm. If someone had said like after I saw Before Sunrise, like they're going to make a sequel to Before Sunrise, I'd be like, don't. Why would you fucking do that? But then I watched Before Sunset, and I'm like, oh, that's why you did it, because you had a good idea and you did it. So maybe I'm the wrong person to fund a direct sequel. But here's some that I wrote down. One of them was Shane Black's The Nice Guys, just because that's a movie that I think was underseen, and then, you know, I think by the end of that movie, I'm like, well, now I want to see like 4 more movies with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
like,
that was good. They had really great chemistry. Yeah. And his daughter, Ryan Gosling's daughter.
She's great. She's great. Yeah, I think that movie's really fun. Also, on a similar note, is the Man from U.N.C.L.E. Movie, which I guess you would have to recast Armie Hammer because now he's a cannibal or something, and a creep. But I think that movie was really great, and it's like the only Guy Ritchie movie I really like. But I thought it was really fun. It's the kind of movie where I'm like, oh man, I want to see more of these to sort of combat the sort of a little bit of dourness at times of the Mission Impossible series, where I'm like, am I supposed to care about this Tom Cruise character? But The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is like an antidote to that, where it's like, no, it's fun. It's a spy thing. Who gives a shit? Also, 2 series I wrote down. Treme, which I've talked about on the show. You could do one and pick up now and just be like, what are these characters up to? Like, where are these people still around? What's going on? I want to see these people again. And the other one was I would have loved the 2nd season of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. There's only 6 episodes, and I feel like there's so much there, but also, you know, that one kind of left you wanting more in a good way. Sneakers, one of my favorite movies of all time. And Howard the Duck, of course, I have to say Howard the Duck. I know you hate it, but hey, maybe the sequel would be better.
I think I would crowdfund against your crowdfunding.
No, we could crowdfund to make a good version. It wouldn't have to be all the
like advisory.
Well, it wouldn't have to be only just like unwrapped condoms and shit. It could be other stuff. There would be we could make a direct sequel that was like, oh, this one's fun and good, and you know, yeah, not an apology
I'm
entirely, but like a let's go this direction with it.
Positive reimagining.
Because it would definitely have Leah Thompson in it.
Okay.
And my last one is one that when I was a kid, I always thought there was going to be a sequel because the way it ended, and it turned out there wasn't ever going to be a sequel because nobody who was an adult that had money liked it, and it's only now popular with adults because we were kids then, is Big Trouble in Little China. Because it ends in such a way that I was like, there's going to be...
back on the road.
But then the monster's on his truck, and I'm like, there's going to be a sequel to that next year, and there never was. There is a sequel to it in comic book form. There's a comic book sequel that John Carpenter
So it's ready to...
co-wrote, and like with some other people, and so it is ready to go. But
you can't like recast.
I assumed it was like, you know, like you could go back in time.
Oh, okay, you can recast. You can cast a young Kurt Russell in it.
Well, yeah, it would be as if I went back in time and funded it, you know, right after Big Trouble in Little China. I imagine that
Kurt Russell's still alive.
Yeah, but is he? Would he? Okay.
Rich, you had one.
Along the same lines you guys talking about, like characters that you just want to see have another adventure in the movie that they're in. Master and Commander, I would love for them to do that whole series of books with that cast from then. Now who knows what they do, but then it was perfectly done. And then the Three Outlaw Samurai, which is this mid-60s samurai film about three outlaw samurais who kind of get hooked up on an adventure together, and at the end they're like buddies walking down the road together like arm in arm, and you're like, I can't wait to see what these guys are up to next.
Oh, bummer.
But they did make a TV show out of that, so someone had that idea and continued it.
But not with the same actors.
No, I don't think with the same actors.
Right. Okay, so,
And then the last one would be, this is more of a deep cut, is the latest Scott Adkins movie. Like I was telling you, Legacy of Lies has to deal with his daughter, who's a 12-year-old, who is...
It's a long explanation.
Who is kidnapped by a Russian torture expert, but they end up having this interesting sort of relationship. So I think that the sequel should be them just solving crimes together as an offshoot of the movie.
Okay.
Oh, and actually on that note, I'll end with this one. And I'm not going to spoil it but if you have seen the movie Nobody, the new Bob Odenkirk movie, if you haven't, it's my favorite movie of the year.
Yet.
But if you haven't yet, check it out. Awesome. Bob Odenkirk in an action movie. But if you have seen it, you'll know what I mean when I say, and if you liked it, by saying that at the end it sets itself up for a direct sequel / spin-off that it's more like I'm hoping they make it, as opposed to like something that I would have to fantasy fund. It's more like something like, come on, you guys got to make this. It could be a direct-to-video kind of thing. And I'm not going to tell you what it. I'm not going to say what it is, because if you haven't seen it, then you don't. Yeah. It involves two of the like secondary characters.
I got to see that soon.
It's super fun.
I'd throw money toward another Austin Powers movie. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm waiting. It's been a long time.
Yeah, baby. That's question number 1. Second, I would love to hear both of your thoughts and recommendations for animated movies aimed at adults or the whole family. And some of his recommendations are Tech on King Crete, which I also recommend, It's Such a Beautiful Day, and Monster House.
Don Hertzfeldt is great. We all agree.
And The World of Tomorrow is successfully kickstarted and should be out on Blu-ray soon. It keeps getting pushed back because he's adding more and more to the Blu-ray, which is great, but then I keep not getting my Blu-ray. So I'm actually recommending an animated movie on here today, and I have recommended some in the past, so I'm going to not re-recommend those, but watch the old episodes if you want to see my recommendations for old animated movies.
I haven't seen as many good animated movies as Kevin has, so obviously I'm going to be recommending, you know, like Miyazaki, etc. I'm a big like Don Bluth fan, like Original Land Before Time, Secret of Nim. Here's some other ones. How do you say his name?
Satoshi Kon.
Satoshi Kon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I usually say it too. Perfect Blue. His other movies, Millennium Actress and Paprika, are also like really amazing. But Perfect Blue is probably my favorite one. Very like Mulholland Drive vibes in this. Questions of like identity and celebrity. Animation is great. If you haven't seen this, check it out.
The late great Satoshi Kon, because he died. He was pretty young, but all his movies are great. Paranoia Agent, his series he did. He's one of the only guys who's done like great animated thrillers.
Yeah, Charlie Kaufman's Anomalisa, I'm gonna recommend, which I actually haven't seen this in a really long time, but I love everything that Charlie Kaufman does. Yeah. It's all like little tiny dolls, right?
Yeah, it's all stop
motion. Is that how they do it? Yeah. Yeah. Watching this for long enough, it becomes real to you, kind of. I feel like I was watching it and I would forget that it was being like not animated, but like stop motion, motionized, whatever the verb for that is.
It's animated. It's still animation. Yeah. It's just a different stop frame animation.
So this is really good if you haven't seen it. It's also like pretty depressing, so buckle up. But
it's for adults too. It has a very graphic.
This isn't for kids.
Has a very graphic stop motion sex scene. But I mean, very like it's moving too. It's not like gratuitous or weird or anything.
It's not like messed up.
No. But it's just that like it's like something where you're like, oh, I didn't expect to see a.
This isn't like Meet the Feebles or anything.
No.
But yeah, this is great. Similar vibe to his other stuff. So existential dread, relationships, coexisting with people, etc. And then as my last like fun one, heavy metal. This movie just rocks. It looks really cool. It's a good time to put on a big screen TV and like have beers with your friends and watch.
That's true.
So those are my 3 specific recommendations for animation.
Cool. None of those are for kids. Sorry, I don't know if I don't think I don't know if either of them are recommending it for
yeah,
kids.
those are not for children.
But
I'll recommend some children ones.
we'll get to Rich. My pick later, my movie I'm going to talk about is actually good for everybody.
Okay.
So since you talked about heavy metal, I'm going to start with Rene Laloux's Time Masters, which was all designed by Mobius, famous comic book artist Mobius, who did a lot of stories for heavy metal. Actually, one of his stories was heavily ripped off, and I think he's uncredited in the movie Heavy Metal. So good job, producers of Heavy Metal. You successfully cheated an artist, but
I don't condone it.
it's also a fun, Heavy Metal is also a fun movie. But Time Masters, Rene Laloux, he only made 3 feature films, and they're all like kind of wildly different stylistically. Fantastic Planet and Gondahar, aka Light Years, also really worth checking out. This is my favorite of his, though, mainly because I just love the Mobius design, and I think that the music is really good in this. But the music in Fantastic Planet is also great. So anyway, worth checking this out. And Rene Laloux's other stuff, Allegro non troppo, which is like maybe a movie I might talk about on here at length at some point, but is Bruno Bozzetto. It's essentially like it's a parody of sorts of Fantasia. It even has like these live action interstitials where it cuts to this harried conductor trying to conduct the thing, and it's like this ridiculous Italian comedy happening between the great animated segments. The animated segments are like sort of parodies of the Disney one, but also like are about subjects such as homelessness and the evolution to destruction kind of themes and stuff. It's very, very cool. This disc is like way out of print, and hopefully someone else picks up the rights to it at some point, because this would look amazing on Blu-ray. Speaking of Blu-rays, Ralph Bakshi's Wizards.
I haven't seen this one.
This is a good entry point, I think, if you haven't watched any Ralph Bakshi movies, because I think this is it's fantasy, but it's got the weird socio-political stuff in it. It's not quite as like much of a down and dirty thing as like Heavy Traffic or Street Fight, yeah, aka something else. But I love Ralph Bakshi. I recently went through and rewatched all of his movies, and I think he's one of the guys that he did Fritz the Cat was probably his most famous movie.
I think that's the only one I've seen.
And it's not my favorite of his. He was like at a time pushing to get this adult animation, and not just like adult as in like porn and stuff, but like more serious topics, weirder. He's very experimental, and it just didn't catch. And like also I think that like animation's so hard to do that it was easy for like the big studios who were producing stuff at the same time to kind of like crush him a little bit. But Wizards is very cool fantasy thing that's also sort of about the rise of Nazism again. So I don't know, that doesn't have anything to do with us today. So but it's still good. That's never going to happen.
What's a Nazi?
What? The last one I'm going to talk about is one that actually has just come out on Blu-ray and is one of the greatest animated movies ever. And I think this would be fine for the whole family. It's a bit weird. It's a bit psychedelic, but it's like a fable. It's Hungarian, and it's The Son of the White Mare. And it is a Hungarian folk tale about these three brothers who have to go fight these monsters to save the princesses and stuff. There is a lot of commentary on modern society in there, but also it's just gorgeous. This gorgeous like free flowing animation.
I've been hearing a lot about that lately, probably because it just came out on Blu-ray.
It's awesome. It was on the festival circuit a bit ago because I saw it at Fantastic Fest in 2019. It was my favorite movie of the Fantastic Fest 2019, but it's from 1980. The director just recently died, but this disc is awesome. It's got a great interview with him and some short films of his and stuff too. Anyway, those are some recommendations.
Oh, we can't forget this one film called Millionaire Dogs.
No!
We would love to recommend that for the whole family.
Oliver and Company.
Now that's a movie.
I could recommend that. I could recommend a million animated movies. Rich, do you have any?
Yeah, well, for the kids, there's the Tom Moore trilogy, of which these two, are available. Song of the Sea and The Secrets of Kells.
Yep.
His other one is Wolf Walker, which is also very good, but isn't currently available on physical media and may not be. Who knows?
We don't know.
And I would also recommend all the movies by Mamoru Hosoda, who did. He's kind of compared a lot to Miyazaki. Wolf Children is probably his closest movie that is Miyazaki. Most of his films are perfectly fine for kids. Boy and the Beast, Summer Wars, they're all really good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Agreed.
It's a lot of good animated picks we got going.
Yeah, and again, I'm a huge fan of animation, so I will be this episode and probably in future episodes continuing to talk about animated movies, because I think that it's seen as like a kid's, it's like this one thing, and it's like what Brad Bird, director of like Incredibles, always says is he always gets angry. You see him get real animated and go, it's not a genre.
People think of animation only doing things where people are dancing around and doing a lot of histrionics, but animation is not a genre. And people keep saying, the animation genre. It's not a genre. A Western is a genre. Animation is an art form, and it can do any genre. It could do a detective film, a cowboy film, a horror film, an R-rated film, or a kid's fairy tale. But it doesn't do one thing. And next time I hear, what's it like working in the animation genre? I'm gonna punch that person.
And if you're coming to the store to browse around, we have our animation room upstairs. We have an entire section of non-children's animation, and then we also have manga and a bunch of different animators, directors, and then down on the first floor we have all the children's animation, including like Disney and literally everything.
Yeah, and well, I guess we should do a tour of the animation room soon.
Guess we should.
All right, we'll do it.
Fine.
All right, we'll do it. Ethan, thanks for writing.
Thank you.
And he ends it with, thanks for all you do. Looking forward to upcoming episodes.
Yay.
Yay.
Thanks for watching, Ethan.
Again, everybody who's watching that wants to write in, viva@scarecrow.com. If you want to actually write a letter to us or send us some fan mail or some fan art or, nothing weird.
Just
or maybe
cool
good
stuff.
weird.
Good weird. Definitely good weird. Nothing bad weird.
Yeah.
Cool, fun, thoughtful, good adjectives.
Yeah.
5030 Roosevelt Way, Northeast, Seattle, Washington, 98105. You'll see it here or below or whatever.
Exactly. It'll be on the screen. It's right here.
Also, we're never going to say no to a local beer.
We will never say no to a local
You
beer.
want to bring it over? We'll pair your beer with a movie.
Hell yeah, we'll pair your beer with a
That's
movie.
Cool. We should do that.
Absolutely. I guess we should have thought of that since it's the 21st episode. Okay, well, anyway, that's it for Mailbag, I think.
Mailbag.
Dad, there's like whores here and stuff.
Sweetheart, how many times have I told you, don't say and stuff. Just say, Dad, there are whores here.